It was utterly my fault, and I had no one else to blame. After an immense amount of soul-searching, I decided that losing a toe was the last straw. I had to make drastic changes in my life. I attacked my health and diabetes head-on and began taking care of myself. Within 6 months, after eating an all-vegetable, no-meat diet and following strict diabetic management, I dropped my A1C from 18 to 7.1. It was a vast improvement. However, this is when things began to unravel. Even though I was eating healthy and following a strict diabetic management plan, my left foot would not completely heal. The doctors were baffled, yet healing efforts went on for 2 years with extensive wound care treatments. It was exhausting, frustrating, and tiresome, yet despite all efforts, the nickel-sized wound remained. I never realized that I was playing Russian roulette with my life by going in and out of the wound care facility daily. The wound clinic was a cesspool of germs, with bacteria hidden in the smallest and darkest of places, and the odds eventually became too great. I lost the game. As my foot became severely infected, I still never thought the worst. I had a fever and chills and believed I was coming down with the flu. But I grew weaker, lethargic, and eventually sepsis set in and took over my body. Everything seemed to be slowly shutting down as my kidneys began to fail and my heart struggled to beat. My body was struggling from the massive infection in my foot. My brain and organs were not receiving enough blood to function, turning my situation critical. I didn't have a choice when my surgeon emphatically announced that I needed to go to surgery if I wanted to live. My world was spiraling, fading, and still, I never dreamed that I was facing losing my limb, and even death. I was 51 years old on November 29, 2017, when my world crashed to a grinding halt, changing it forever. My left foot was inflamed with infection, and in this fleeting, horrifying moment, I was now faced with the inevitable choice of losing it or risking pending death. Doctors and nurses scrambled and rushed me immediately into surgery. The amputation on that foot was the first of 3 major operations. I woke to the sight of the entire top of my left foot, including all muscles, tendons, and ligaments, removed. My heart sank at the spectacle, my foot torn to shreds, damaged beyond healing. I now faced a life-altering decision: to amputate or never walk normally again. I made the heart-wrenching decision to amputate my foot and salvage what I thought was left of my life. However, things would not be that easy. During the second operation, the removal of my foot, the surgeons discovered a massive infection throughout my leg and in the tibia bone. This forced them to stop the amputation, cut my leg straight down, guillotine style, take a sample of the infected area, and analyze it. Then, I had to wait. Waiting for the results was pure agony, as I had to lie with my leg elevated and in horrifying and gripping pain. To make matters even worse, for an entire week and a half, I waited in angst and agony, unknowing and unsure of how much more of my left leg I was going to lose. Finally, the results came back showing the infection was no longer life-threatening, but it had spread higher than predicted within my bone. Things looked grim. I now faced losing even more of my leg. The surgeons decided precisely how much more of my leg they had to take, and they amputated my left leg just below the knee.